Good morning, class. Today we're going to be diving a little more into our writing instruction. On your desk, you should have your writer's notebook along with a pencil, your glue stick, and a pair of scissors. Okay? As you get those things together, like I said, we're going to move into a little bit more into our writing instruction. Remember, our goal here is to build a community of writers who are confident in their writing abilities and who are good, authentic writers, individuals who write from self experiences. And what do I mean by that, class? Self experience, things that you've gone through, things that you've dealt with. Okay? So today we're going to move a little bit further into that, bringing those experiences to the table and working from there. Okay? Now, by now you should have your writer's notebook out on your desk along with your pencil, your glue stick, and a pair of scissors. Okay? If you would please write this essential question down into your writer's notebook. Today's date is September the 19th. Our essential question for today is, what is the process of generating ideas and thoughts for writing? Okay? So I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. I'm going to read it again, just so that we can process and we can work our way through that question. Okay? The essential question again for today for our writing instruction is, what is the process for generating ideas and thoughts for writing? Okay? So what pathway, what street, what avenue, what road do we take to get our ideas and thoughts for writing from our head, generating in our head, first of all, in our head, out of our head to our paper? Okay? So how we should look at, or we should think about, what process does authors, people who write books, what process do they use? What process does professional writers like newspaper reporters or individuals who work for the local news station when they write stories, what process do they use? Also, bringing it home a little bit, what process does our principal use when she writes our school newsletter? What process does she use when she writes letters home to parents? What process does she use when she sends emails to teachers? What process do I use when I write the lesson plans that we're going through each day in class? So we're going to look into that and see if we can figure out a good strategy to use as writers that we can put into our writer's toolbox and use as we develop as writers. All right, so that strategy that we're going to talk about today is called free writing. All right, here's another note that I want you to put into your writer's notebook. Free writing. All right, and the definition of free writing, it is a strategy that writers use to generate ideas or to begin writing again when they're stuck. Okay, so I'm going to read that again to you. Free writing is a strategy writers use to generate ideas or begin writing again when they're stuck. Okay, so just think about that. How how um, how mind-boggling is that to see or to know that writers get stuck. Okay, so we're thinking about, when we think about writers, we're not just thinking about our classmates. We're not just thinking about um, students in the grades that are above us and students in the grades below us. We're talking about writers, people who write books for a living, people who write magazines, articles for magazines, people who write information in our textbooks, people who write in our local newspaper, people who write ads for commercials that we watch on TV. People get stuck when they write, okay? It doesn't just always flow easily, and it's not always right the first time that it comes out. So they use free writing. Free writing is a strategy they use to kind of get those ideas that are generating in their head, the wheels that are turning in their head. They get those ideas on paper through the free writing strategy. But don't worry, we're going to get some practice with that today. We're going to get practice today with some free writing. So here's some questions that I want you to reflect on in your brain. This is a brain discussion with yourself. And I want you to seriously think about these questions and take a minute to reflect back on your time and your experience as a student writer. Okay? Have you ever struggled with writing? Okay, so think about that for a second. Think about a time when you were given something to write about on a state test, maybe on South Carolina Ready, a prompt you were given, and you just struggled with it. You didn't have a thought to come to mind. You didn't have time to brainstorm or pre-write, and you struggled with that. Okay, next question. Have you ever gotten stuck in the middle of writing something? So say you have your introductory paragraph written, you have your first body paragraph written, and then when you get to that second body paragraph, you are just out of ideas. You use your notes, you reflect it back to your notes, or refer back to your notes, and you are stuck. What are you going to do? Okay. Have you ever crossed out huge chunks of your writing? So say you've written your response to a prompt, or you've written your response to a question, a test question, and then you go back and you read it and you say, nah, that's not good. Let me stretch that out. I don't want to keep that there. That makes sense there. We've all done it. Okay. Have you ever gotten sidetracked or distracted while you write? So say you're taking a you're responding to a prompt on your writing test that I've given you, and it's so pretty outside. The birds are chirping, the birds are flying, and you sit by the window, and all of a sudden you're distracted by the beautiful workings of nature outside our classroom window. Okay, those are common things that happen. So we're going to talk about a strategy that gets us away from those things, that kind of help us to deal with those writing struggles. Okay, those things that we just talked about, getting stuck in your writing, crossing out things in your writing, not being able to generate more ideas for your writing, those are what we call roadblocks. Okay, think about this. When you're riding in town with mom and dad in the car, you're all chill out, relaxed in the back seat, and you're have your iPad, you got your earphones in, y'all just steady driving down the road, and all of a sudden you come to a complete stop. Mom or dad slams on brakes, and you are stuck there in traffic for X amount of hours. Okay? That happens with writers, with authors, with newspaper editors, with teachers, with me. That happens. Okay? And what we call, like I said earlier, we call that writer's roadblocks, okay? So just like in that physical sense, when you're riding around with mom and dad and you come to a complete stop in the road and you can't go anywhere for a while, that same thing happens in writing, okay? So we call those roadblocks. But we're building a writer's toolkit. As we develop as writers and as we develop as a community of writers, we're putting tools in our toolkit that will help us deal with these roadblocks and these things that come up against us while we write. All right, so in your toolkit, hopefully we're going to pack things in there that will help you get over these roadblocks, get under these roadblocks, or go around these roadblocks, okay? There will be challenges, but as we go along, your toolkit will help you overcome those writing challenges, okay? I have placed in your groups the free write anger chart. So if our assistant in that group would pass these out to your group, and I want you to glue these into your writer's notebook. Okay, this is something that we will always refer back to whenever we do a free writing moment. Okay, so these are kind of like the guidelines or the expectations I'm setting for you during the free write time, during those free write moments. These are the expectations that I expect you to follow. Okay? So as you glue those into your notebook, take about 1 minute to do that. All right, and I have your intention in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job on that, guys. So let's go over the do's column. What do we do during free write? Mr. W, you keep talking about this free write, but you haven't told me what I'm supposed to do. I don't have my notebook or what? All right, so in that free write, during those times, we are going to set a time. Okay, we're going to write for a set amount of time. So every time that we do a free writing class, I will set the time. All right, there will be a timer for you to watch so that you will be able to manage your time effectively. Use your time effectively. Time management piece comes into this. All right, just start. All right, no matter what the prompt is, no matter what's going on, start. When the timer starts, you start and write as much as you can for as long as you can. Okay, I want to see your pencil continuously going and writing as the timer is going and writing. Okay, when the timer starts, your pencil starts. When the timer ends, your pencils end. Okay, keep going. If you get stuck, go back to the prompt. Okay, pick out keywords in the prompt that you can relate to or that you can connect to, that you understand, that you have an appreciation for. Use those words, okay? And hopefully they will prompt more ideas in your head that will transfer to your paper. Let your thoughts flow, okay? This is a relaxed time. Free write is, and we want those ideas to be able to freely flow from your brain to your hand to your pencil to your paper, okay? And at the end, write at least one sentence that brings all that back together, okay? Don'ts. Let's talk about what we do not do during the free time. We do not stop writing. That is the number one expectation for what you do not do. You do not stop writing. Even if you have to incorporate strict squiggly lines or shapes or stars or figures, make sure your pencil is moving. Okay? Do not try to fix your spelling or your grammar. That's not the most important part right now. We're going to get to that later on in the writing process. Right now, if you misspell a word, that's okay. Okay? Don't judge your ideas or worry about whether they're good. Okay? This is just a stepping stone to what to. This is just a stepping stone to the later process that we're gonna dive into. And don't delete or cross anything out. Okay? Because whatever you write, you can always refer back to, or you can always use at a later date. Okay? I will also have this hanging. This is also hanging on the back wall. If you look on the back wall, our free write on our anchor chart wall, the free writing is the new one that's posted. So you can always refer back to it if you happen to leave your writer's notebook at home or in the car or something one day. It is always in the room posted. So here's our collaborative learning task today. Here's our prompt. Okay, so during the free write time, I will give you a prompt, and from there, you will have a set amount of time to write. And when the timer starts, your pencil start. Okay, so we're gonna do this together. I'm gonna model with you how this should be done. Okay, so I have my prompt here. Do you like breakfast or dinner better? So in your writer's notebook, I want you to jot down this prompt on a clean sheet of paper. Okay, should be the next page over. It may be the back of one or the front of the other. Either is fine. All right, I want you to jot this down quickly, please. And for 2 minutes, we are going to free write about this prompt, okay? So I'm going to put a timer on the board. And I am also going to put up my prompt response, okay? So here's my timer. Here's my prompt. Here's how I'm going to respond to the prompt. And as long as the timer is going, I'm writing, even if I have to fill in with some stars or spaces on my paper, okay? So when the timer starts, you start. So I want you to go ahead and pick up your pencil so we're ready. And once you're ready, I see all pencils in the air, so that must mean we're ready. We're going to begin as soon as I hit start, okay? Now remember, we're responding to the prompt, do you like breakfast or dinner better, okay? So as you write, I'm going to write, okay? And then we're going to talk about it. You may now begin. All right, so your pencil should be down now. Okay, let's look at some of the ideas that I talk about in my response to breakfast or dinner. Which one do I like better? All right, I made notes about both. Okay, breakfast is early, breakfast is sweeter, breakfast is healthy. Breakfast is served at home sometimes because I don't always get to have breakfast at home because sometimes I'm running late. Breakfast is served at school all times. Okay, every day we have breakfast here at school. Breakfast sometimes consists of grits, eggs, bacon, wiffles, which should have been waffles. But remember, I'm not checking my spelling or my grammar. Syrup, butter, orange juice, should be orange juice, but again, that grammar and spelling thing. Water, coffee. My grandma cooks breakfast often, more so than me or my mom. Dinner is at night. It's late. It puts me to sleep. So once I eat dinner, I'm usually kind of ready to go to bed. Dinner is always served at home. It's not always at school. Dinner sometimes is chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs. You can grill dinner. You can cook dinner on the stove or you can cook it in the oven. My mama cooks dinner. It's at home. Uh, Always get a good time so you can sleep at night. I really don't know what I'm saying right there. Okay, so we have to talk about that. Question mark that one. But I'm not going to scratch it out because it doesn't make sense. Dinner is my favorite meal because of family. All right, family is always gathered for, and I was going to say for dinner on Sundays because on Sundays my entire family gathers at my grandma's for dinner. Okay, so let's go back to our slideshow, our notes for today. Okay, so independently, I want you to work on this as well. I want you to work on this new prompt. And as you write, I'm going to circle around the room, all right, to see how you're doing, okay? So I'm going to go back and set the timer for 2 minutes. This time you won't be able to see the timer, but you'll be able to hear it go off, okay? Pencils up. You may now begin. I'm going to put the prompt back on, okay? You may begin. Great job, Austin. I like how you did a T-chart here to compare, to list things in the morning, to list things at night. Why you're a morning person, why you're a night person. Good job, good job, good job. I like how you did that. Elizabeth, I like how you used the graphic organizer here to kind of jot your ideas down. Awesome job. Kalia, I like how you're just really free writing. You're not really using an organizer. You're just writing it in your notebook as freely as they come. That so you're writing it. I really really enjoy that. Really like that. It's a good strategy to use. All right, if you will put your pencils down, okay, and if you will please, we're gonna do a quick partner. Where's my partner? So the person sitting next to you, I want you to share your free writing. Okay, share your thoughts and ideas in response to the prompt. Okay. Seat partners, if you're listening until your partner finishes and you're going to give them one compliment. Okay, remember, a compliment's a good thing about their writing. It's something that you really, really like, that you really, really enjoyed. Okay, and once you've done that, then you will then switch roles. All right, so the listener will then be the reader, and the first reader will be the listener. Okay, all right, I have your attention in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you. I heard some really good conversations, some really good compliments, and I like what I was hearing. That was a really good job. That helps us in building our community of writers. So in order to close out this lesson, I want you to discuss some of these things with your group members. Okay, here are some questions. What did you like about free writing? What was tricky? And when might you use free writing? Okay, remember, free writing is a strategy that writers use to get around those roadblocks. Okay, so as we move further into our writing instruction, we know that we're going to put this writing strategy into our writer toolbox toolkit so that whenever we are stuck with writing, we can refer back to free writing as a tool and as an instrument to jumpstart us and to push us into that next stage. All right, once you're done, put your responses, put your independent responses. Make sure you put your writer's notebook, excuse me, back into your group's basket. Have a great day.